When any Muslim religious place of worship is constructed in any nation in the world, its main entrance should face the direction of Mecca. The Muslims who rigidly follow the theories and traditions of their religion do not deviate from this. According to Muslim culture, their main center of religion is the mosque, identified as the masjid. Masjid is an Arabic word denoting a place of worship. A mosque being constructed in places where people of this community reside is customary. Its aim is to encourage the villagers or residents in religious observances and also to focus their attention towards an ethical family life. Accordingly, the center in the process of guiding a Muslim's life is the Jummah Mosque. The Grand Mosque or Mahapalya at Kattankudy in the eastern province is a good example. The Muslim community engages in prayers 5 times a day. This is conducted in all Muslim mosques. However, the special prayer on Fridays is held only in Jummah mosques. Hence, all Muslims should gather at this place for their Friday prayers. The history behind the construction of this mosque at Kattankudy dates back to centuries. History records that this had been built during the 8th century. That was with the arrival of the Muslims and their settlements being established. Kattankudy takes prominence among all places inhabited by the majority of the Muslim community. The first Muslim place of worship had been built at a place identified as Sinnapallivayal. This had taken place with the arrival of the Arabs at Kattankudy. Their arrival in the eastern regions of Sri Lanka is a coincidence. According to Muslim folklore, an Arabian ship on a trading mission loaded with silk, cotton and horses had been hit by a storm while sailing the Indian Ocean. The storm-battered ship had lost direction and floated towards land at a location near Batiklo. This location is known as Sinnapalliyadi even today. Accordingly, that was the first instance that the Arab Muslims had arrived at Kattankudy. Documentary evidence had been discovered which records that this incident had taken place around 300 years ago. The stone inscription known as the Misan Kal is said to have been discovered in the area of Sinnapallivayal. It is said that this had been discovered when a grave was being dug on the mosque compound for the burial of a person named Janazat Kirana. The Arabic numerals 896 had been inscribed on the rock. Based on this, the Arab Muslims are believed to have arrived here 800 years ago. This location was convenient for them. It made their activities easier. There were no obstructions to their trading activities as well as their lives. Hence, more traders arrived here. Among them, there were those who were in search of employment. All those who united with the Arabs had built Kattankudy. There also exist completely contradictory views about the arrival of the Muslims in the East. Some beliefs or opinions among them date back to the history of the arrival of Portuguese. According to another version, an ancient king named Senarath, who had ruled Sri Lanka, had settled the Muslims in the eastern province. This group was the Muslims who were evicted from the Low Country by the Portuguese. Folklore states that when those who were evicted arrived at the kingdom of Kanda Udurata, King Senarath had them resettled in the east. However, the Muslim community was successful in cordially engaging in their trading activities while earning the goodwill of the king and the citizens. There are instances where Muslim traders had married Sinhalese females. The rulers of this country too had followed concessionary policies towards them. Who had thus mixed with the Sinhalese race. Thus, the Muslims too became stakeholders in Sri Lankan society. It is stated that when Arabian traveller, explorer Ibn Battuta arrived in this country in 1344, the Colombo port had been controlled by a Muslim named Jalasti. There are views that the taxes from the ports had been collected by the Muslim trade leaders on behalf of the Sri Lankan kings. Publications on historical facts state that an Arab trade leader, Al-Hajj Abu Uthman, was sent to Egypt as the emissary of King Buanikabahu to convey his friendship to the Egyptian Sultan. Mosques were built on lands gifted by the kings. The Katupalliya in Kandy and the Madul Bover and Kahatapitiya mosques are such examples. Extents of land belonging to Buddhist temples had been allocated at that time for other races and religious communities to perform their religious rites. The Pangolamada Mosque was built on land belonging to the Degalduruwa Viharaya. Historic records state that the Ramukanda Mosque was built on land belonging to the Vidhi Viharaya in Kurragala. Hence, at that time, the Buddhist monks had earned the continuous respect of the Muslims. In a nation thus enjoying racial and religious coexistence, the Mohyiddin Mettey Juma Mosque in the east was constructed in the year 1705. The mosque, which existed as a Kajan-covered structure, was renovated into a brick-built permanent structure in 1860. The first mosque to be built in the center of Kattankudy town is also the third mosque to have been built in the history of this country. This is the first ever mosque with two mettey or stories to be built in Kattankudy. Tiles were laid for the roof of this mosque in 1865. It is said that several of these tiles carry the markings of the relevant year. The splendid wooden construction at the inception, concrete pillars was added to the upper story of this mosque during later times. This building, where around 4,000 persons could gather and engage in prayers at a time, is considered the largest and most pleasant among the mosques in Sri Lanka. There is a board of trustees for a Juma mosque. This board of trustees consists of a chairman, secretary, a treasurer and a committee of officials. While the respective masjids and takyas come under the administration of these trustees of the Juma mosque, a committee of 5 members is appointed to each of these mosques, say sociologists. Among the two types of mosques where the Muslims perform their religious obligations, the masjid takes prominence, while the Juma mosque is the other. The smaller mosques within the villages with a lesser population are called takyas. The takya and Juma mosque are centered round a Juma mosque. In the eastern province, apart from the Juma mosque, the clergy at all other mosques is the lebbe. The majority of them, though without a systematic educational background, are stated to be a group with customary or traditional roots. However, the Maulavis, who are the clergy of Juma mosques, are not similar. They are persons who have gained a systematic education on the religion of Islam. These Maulavis are paid a monthly salary by the board of trustees of these mosques. Among the devotees of the religion of Islam who engage in the obligatory prayers 5 times a day, only males come to the mosques. It is common for the males living around a Juma mosque to arrive at a mosque on the customary night before Friday and spend the night there. According to the devotees of Islam, the night spent in prayers and recitals is the Juma night. Their faith is the foundation of their daily and nightly prayers. It is the dream of every true follower of Islam to see this foundation as an unshakable base for coexistence.